The little girl's stomach growled so loudly it echoed in the empty alleyway. She pressed her tiny hand against her belly, trying to silence the painful hunger that had tormented her for days. Her name was Emma, only 7 years old, with messy brown hair that clung to her pale face. Her eyes, once bright with innocence, were now dulled by exhaustion and despair. She had not eaten a proper meal in 3 days, surviving only on scraps of stale bread she had picked from the trash. Tonight, the hunger was unbearable. Tonight, she decided she would beg. Clutching the torn edge of her dress, Emma gathered courage and stepped into the street where warm light spilled from shops and restaurants. The smell of fresh bread, roasted chicken, and spices filled the air, torturing her senses. She swallowed hard, tears stinging her eyes. Gathering every ounce of courage, she walked up to the doorway of a small diner. Inside, people laughed and ate heartily. Her small voice trembled as she spoke. "Please, sir, may I have a little food? Just a piece of bread, please." The waiter glanced at her with annoyance, as if she were an insect. Instead of compassion, he sneered. "Get out of here, you filthy brat. We don't feed beggars." His words cut deep, but Emma didn't give up. She turned to a woman leaving the diner, tugging at her sleeve. "Please, ma'am. I'm so hungry." "I haven't eaten," but before she could finish, the woman shoved her away harshly. "Don't touch me. Go away." The rejection stung, but Emma's hunger was stronger than her pride. She knelt by the entrance, folding her hands in desperation. "Please, just one meal. I'll do anything, wash dishes, sweep the floor." The manager of the diner stormed out. His face was cold, his eyes filled with cruelty. "Didn't I tell you to leave?" he barked. Without mercy, he kicked at the little girl, pushing her into the street. Emma stumbled, scraped her knee, and fell hard against the cold pavement. Her tiny hands trembled as tears rolled down her cheeks. The world blurred, and for a moment, she thought she might collapse right there. But fate was watching. At that exact moment, a black luxury car rolled up to the curb. From inside stepped a tall man in a crisp suit. His presence was commanding, his eyes sharp yet kind. He was none other than Richard Coleman, a self-made millionaire known in the business world for his brilliance, but few knew of the loneliness that haunted his heart. Richard froze when he saw the scene, a frail little girl lying on the pavement, her dress torn, her face streaked with tears. His chest tightened. Memories of his own childhood flooded back, the days when he, too, had known hunger, the nights he had gone to bed crying because there was nothing to eat. He couldn't turn away. "What's going on here?" Richard's deep voice thundered. The cruel manager stuttered, "Yes, sir, this girl is just a beggar. Always causing trouble, asking for food. I was only..." "Enough." Richard snapped. He rushed to Emma, kneeling beside her. His hands, though strong and used to signing million-dollar contracts, were gentle as he helped her up. "Are you all right, sweetheart?" he asked softly. Emma looked up, her lips trembling. I'm just hungry. Please don't kick me again." Those words broke something inside Richard. He stood, glaring at the manager. "Shame on you. A child begged for food, and you threw her out like trash. Do you know what that says about you?" His voice was cold with authority. The crowd that had gathered fell silent, ashamed. Without another word, Richard scooped Emma into his arms. "Come with me," he said gently. "You'll never be hungry again." That night, for the first time in days, Emma sat at a grand dining table in Richard's mansion. Her eyes widened as plate after plate of warm food was brought before her, bread rolls, roasted chicken, soup, vegetables. At first, she was hesitant, as if it were a dream that might vanish if she reached out. Richard smiled. "Go on, eat." Emma took a bite. And then another. Soon tears streamed down her face as she ate hungrily. "Thank you, sir, thank you," she whispered between sobs. Richard's heart melted. He reached out and wiped her tears. "Call me Uncle Richard. You're safe now." But the journey didn't end with a meal. Richard soon learned that Emma was not only starving for food, she was starving for love, for family, for someone to care. Her parents had died in a tragic accident, and distant relatives had abandoned her, leaving her to wander the streets alone. Richard made a decision that would change both of their lives. He would not just feed her for a night. He would give her a home. The challenges were not easy. Emma, after enduring cruelty, struggled to trust. She would hide food in her pockets, afraid it might all disappear tomorrow. She had nightmares of being kicked out again. Richard patiently comforted her, staying by her side through every fear. At the same time, his wealthy peers questioned him. Why take in a street child? It will ruin your reputation. But Richard stood firm. What ruins a man's reputation is turning away from a child in need. Slowly, Emma began to heal. She went to school, her smile returning day by day. Richard discovered that her mind was sharp, her heart kind. She had dreams of becoming a doctor to help children like herself. Richard supported her every step of the way. Years later, the once starving girl stood tall in a white coat, her name embroidered proudly, Dr. Emma Coleman. The little girl who had once been kicked out of a diner was now saving lives, giving hope, and feeding the hungry with the same compassion she had received. And standing in the crowd, with tears in his eyes, was Richard, the man who had changed her fate with one act of kindness. Final message for your audience. This story reminds us that sometimes, a single act of compassion can change the course of an entire life. There are countless Emmas in the world today, children who are hungry not just for food, but for love, hope, and a chance. If this story touched your heart, please share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you felt about Emma's journey. And don't forget, subscribe to my channel, Be Kind Always, for more powerful and inspiring stories. Let's spread kindness together, because one good deed can truly change the world.